Hey everyone. Of course, Tesla stock is one that nearly every investor has an opinion on, either for or against. Bullish or bearish, Tesla stock generates strong opinions. In this video, what I'll do is I'll do some forecasting and project where I think Tesla stock price could be by the year 2030. So let's take a look at this interesting analysis and come up with several scenarios of where Tesla stock price could be by 2030. All right, so one of the numbers I'm going to need to make this estimation is Tesla's current stock price. Right now it's trading at $170.89 per share, down significantly off its highs of over $400 per share reached in 2021. I'm also going to need Tesla's forward price to earnings ratio, which as of this recording stands at 40.19. All right, I also need Tesla's earnings per share estimate for 2025. You can see that number there at $4.06. That's up from $2.99 expected in 2024. Each of these estimates you can see has been getting downgraded over recent months. 90 days ago, analysts on Wall Street thought Tesla was going to deliver $4.94 in earnings per share in 2025. Then they decreased that to $4.90. They decreased it further to $4.19, decreasing it further to $4.08, and then the current estimate is $4.06. I wouldn't be surprised if this estimate continues to move lower as more and more information is coming in showing just how tepid consumer demand is for electric vehicles. And companies like Tesla just today announced that they're pausing or decreasing, I should say, production in their electric vehicles. Tesla's not the only one. Tesla's followed by companies like Fisker, Rivian, Ford, GM, and others that have all either lowered expectations or kept increasing or kept the increase in production flat or muted for electric vehicles, as there just isn't demand, right? There just isn't demand for all the electric vehicles that are being produced today. There's just too much production of electric vehicles. So I think the industry is making prudent decisions by decreasing the number of vehicles they're outputting. Don't produce so many, right? So that you don't have to keep slashing prices to generate sales. If you produce fewer vehicles, you don't have to cut prices by as much. And along with Tesla's pause or decrease in production, they've also announced price increases, surprisingly. So I think that's a more prudent strategy. You know, you're already producing too many electric vehicles to begin with. Stop increasing that and just keep your prices constant or increase prices and focus on profitability. Focus on profitability, at least until consumer demand increases, at least until the infrastructure to support electric vehicles warrants an increase in supply of electric vehicles. Okay, I also need Tesla's next 5 years earnings per share growth estimate. And according to the analysts that are following Tesla stock, they think Tesla's going to grow earnings per share for the next 5 years at 10.31%. Interestingly, that's going to be slower earnings growth for Tesla for the next 5 years compared to the S&P 500, which is expected to grow earnings per share at 11.13% for the next 5 years. So Tesla is going to be a slower than average earnings grower over the next 5 years. After the past 5 years, it grew earnings per share at 70%. So it's history. It's not going to repeat itself over the next 5 years. That is according to Wall Street analysts that follow Tesla stock. And I agree with the Wall Street analysts that Tesla's growth in earnings per share over the next 5 years is not going to be anywhere near where it was in the past 5 years. Now that competition has entered into the EV space and there's choice for consumers in which EVs they buy and an increase in supply of legacy vehicles, I don't think earnings per share is going to grow by all that much for Tesla. I think 10% might be a little bit too conservative. I think it'll grow a little bit faster than 10% per year, but I don't think it'll approach anything near where it was in the past 5 years. So now that we have those estimates, let me draw your attention down here to the bottom left-hand corner where I've drawn out an earnings per share forecast. So if Tesla's earnings per share does come in at $4.06 at 2025 and the earnings per share grows at 10.31% for the next 6 years for an earnings per share in the year 2031 of $7.32. That happens after I apply a 10.31 growth rate to the $4.06 earnings per share. That will get you to a $7.32 earnings per share for 2031. If you wanted to see the formula I've applied, you can see that all the way up here on the top left hand corner. So then you have the earnings per share 2031 of $7.32. If you apply the forward price to earnings of 40.19, you'll get a stock price of $293.99 per share by the end of 2030. Now that would be a solid increase from the current price per share of $171, but it still won't approach the highs of over $400 it reached in late 2021, which I think will disappoint many Tesla stock investors who are hoping for and expecting much more significant price increases. I've heard price increases of $1,000 per share and $2,000 per share forecasted by 2030 for Tesla stock. Those forecasts I think are unrealistic, especially the $2,000 per share forecast I think is unrealistic. Even if Tesla achieves driverless car technology, I don't think the $2,000 per share forecast is realistic for Tesla stock. So if those numbers stay the same, then Tesla stock price will reach $293 per share. If the forward price to earnings were to increase, then Tesla's $250, then Tesla's stock price could reach $365 per share. But if the PE were to fall to 30, then Tesla's stock price could be more modest at $219. Or even if the PE were to fall to 20, then Tesla's stock price could fall to $146. And I will highlight, even at a forward price to earnings of 20, which would be half of where Tesla stock is trading at now, this would still be 3 times the PE ratio of companies like Ford, GM, and Stellantis. So even at half its current valuation, Tesla would still be trading at nearly triple the price of Ford, GM, and Stellantis. That's how expensive Tesla stock is right now compared to the legacy automakers. So a lot of this excellent prospect is already built into Tesla's valuation. Is trading at a forward PE of 40, right? Compared to single digits for Ford, GM, and Stellantis. So that premium valuation is there for a reason, and that reason is because investors are expecting Tesla to deliver significant technological advances in the areas of driverless car technology, maybe robotics, maybe other services where it generates a better profit margin and better valuation than where it is now, which is primarily a car company with some energy and some services sales included, but primarily a car company. So it's already incorporating that into this valuation. So my estimate, my most probable estimate for where Tesla stock price could be by 2030 is somewhere in the range of $300 per share and $350 per share. So somewhere above this current expectation, and partly I think it's because the earnings per share I think is going to grow at a faster rate. If we put it at a 12% growth rate, or if I put it at a 13% growth rate, that'll get me to a valuation of $339 per share for 2030. In that range of $300 and $350 I suggested, I think that's the most probable outcome for Tesla stock by the end of 2030. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.